everybody. Thanks for joining in. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. Last night we got some good news for New York sports, anyways. The Yankees clinched a playoff spot last night by coming back in the bottom of the ninth and beating the Chicago White Sox 3-2. Let's go ahead and talk about how that game went down. I watched it last night because I knew the possibility if the Yanks won, they were going to clinch a playoff spot. We don't know who they're going to play yet because the rest of the teams, whoever's going to be in. I know some of the teams are already in, but we don't know who the Yanks are going to play yet until the end of the season. There's 5 games left in the season, so we'll see what happens and who they're going to be faced off against. But anyway, here's how it started out. Anthony Volpe opened up the bottom of the ninth with his second hit of the game. Now, there's been a lot of times when Volpe this year, I was like one of those guys where like you just got to sit this guy down. He stinks. He has some times when he's like last year he was like the talk of the team. He was really good. This year he's had his ups and downs, and there's been times I wanted him either benched or just set him to the minors or something. But last night to open up the bottom of the ninth, he came through with a single, put himself on first base. So that's how it started. And the next batter was Austin Wells, who, by the way, I really like. This he seems to be a clutch hitter, not all the time, but he really does come through. But anyway, in his at bat, he had a 3-0 count. He ends up running the count up to 3-2. I thought he was going to whiff, because he had a 3-2. He had a 3-0 count, ran up 3-2. Then he manages to grab one, pulls one to right field, and he gets a base hit. Now you got Volpe on second, Wells on first, and 2 men on, no outs in the bottom of the ninth. So in comes Trent Grisham. Now this guy's been a really good addition to the team since he's come to the Yanks. He's hit a few monster home runs in the past games. Help the Yanks win games. And as a matter of fact, he has a 829 slugger rating in high leverage situations. That's a whole bunch of fancy talk, which all that really means at the end of the day is that the guy comes through. And he leads the major leagues with that 829 slugger rating in situations when he needs to get a hit. So the guy's been a really good addition to the team. But of course not this time. He hits into a double play. Now there's 2 outs. Volpe moves to third, and the Yanks are down to their last out. So Aaron Judge comes to the plate. He's not going to hit. They're going to walk him, which they intentionally do. So now you got Judge on first, Volpe on third, still 2 outs. I imagine that the logic there is, first of all, Judge will hit one into the fucking parking lot, game over, or you got a man on first, and you can force him out at second. There's your 3rd out, and the game's over, and the Yanks lose. But that's not how it happened. So anyway, Judge gets walked intentionally. He gets put on the first and second, 2 outs now, and Cody Bellinger comes up, and he runs the count to 3-2. So now it's 3-2, 2 outs, runners at first and third, and the White Sox pitcher fucking throws an air ball over the catcher's head. The crowd's going crazy. Volpe comes in from third. Yanks tie the game 2-2. Excuse me. And that was the end of that guy. I mean, he was getting close to being done anyways, the pitcher, but he mails an air ball over the catcher's head. In comes Volpe. Yanks tie the game 2-2. So now and the pitcher they bring in, I can't remember the guy's name. It doesn't matter, but he was the 6th pitcher of the night. So the White Sox were going through their pitching bullpen. They were going through guys. This guy was the 6th pitcher of the night. So anyway, bring in the hero of the night, Jose Caballero, who, by the way, actually didn't come into the game until the 8th inning as a pinch runner. And he came to the Yankees at the trade deadline from Tampa Bay, I think it was anyways. So anyway, after like a 10-pitch marathon, this guy was just hitting foul balls. He just stayed alive. It was on the 10th pitch of his at-bat, he hits a bloop single into center field. Now, I thought that the center fielder, with a little bit of effort, could have got it, but it's easy for me to say sitting there on my couch watching the game. But at the end of the day, it was really just a bloop single to center field. Judge is hauling ass. He comes in to score. Yankees win the game 3-2, and they clinch their 60th, as I said in the beginning, their 60th playoff spot as a team. So what does this mean to us as Yankee fans? I think this is good. And I'll tell you why. Not only because the Yanks made the playoffs, but you know how sometimes when a team like limps into the playoffs, like we've seen teams do in the past, like they start out really hot, but at the end of the season, they had just enough wins and just enough games where they kind of limp into the playoffs. But you go like I don't feel good about this. You know, they're limping in there, they're losing games. You just don't know what they're going to do when they get there. In this case, it's not like that. The Yankees, ever since August 14th, are 25-11. So that makes them one of, if not the hottest team in baseball going into the postseason. That's a good thing. So they're not limping in there with their tails dragging between their legs. Oh man, we just got in there. They really have been hot going into the playoffs. They're moving in. They're moving hot. And also, before the end of the game, we found out that the Red Sox beat Toronto last night, which put the Yankees only one game out of first place in the American League East division. So the Yankees are still within, and there's 5 games left in the season. So the Yankees are clearly in range of even winning the division, not just getting into the playoffs. But either way, if they don't win the division, it doesn't matter at this point. Maybe to who they played in the playoffs, it does. But at the end of the day, the Yanks have beat their way into the playoffs. They're in the postseason, and anything can happen now because it's all brand new. And like I said, the good thing about this is the Yanks are not limping in. They actually have been hot to get there. So good news for New York sports teams, since we know the Jets and Giants can't seem to win a game. And also the Mets. The Mets aren't out of it either yet. The Mets I think the Mets are going to eke their way into the playoffs also. We'll see what happens with their few remaining games. But anyway, you guys have a great day. Yanks are in the postseason. Let's hope for the best, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye now.